Good morning to you all. Today we are going to talk about the SSH, Secure Shell. So we have this is the second protocol which is used for the remote login purpose. Already one protocol we have studied. The name of that protocol is Telnet. Okay, and now the second one is the SSH, that is Secure Shell. So first of all, before going to see this protocol, let me tell you the difference between the Telnet and SSH. We know that the working of the Telnet is used for the remote login purpose. Even though I have taken the example, suppose I want to log into the system or the computer which is at the remote side. It may be in the Pandharpur or it may be in the Pune. Then how I can log in to that system? So I can log in to that system by using the Telnet. Okay, so first thing is we know that how to configure the Telnet. Okay, means Telnet should be configured on the client machine as well as server machine. On both the machine it should be configured. Same thing as like in the SSH also. It should be configured on the client as well as server. Then what are the differences between the Telnet and SSH? So Telnet, Telnet, once we have login to the remote system by using the Telnet, means connection is established. Now I want to transfer the message or the data from client to the server. So at that time, suppose that the data is the SKN SUE Pandharpur. So client is typing here from the client machine, that is suppose laptop. Okay, SKN SUE Pandharpur. Then that data is transferred through internet or over the internet to the remote system, that is on the server, and that server is available in the college, that is SKN SUE Pandharpur. Okay, into that college, suppose that server is available in lab number 401. So from here I have typed the data SKN SUE Pandharpur. So that data as it is, it will be transmitted through the network up to that server. Network means via the internet. So that plain text as it is transmitted. But SSH does not do these things. What the SSH does? SSH provides the security. Okay, security means what? Actually, that plain text, that is SKN SUE Pandharpur, it will be converted into the ciphertext. Means it will be converted into some other format, not in the original format. Okay, because when we were using the telnet, at that time the message will be transmitted as it is. So there is a chances someone will capture that packet or someone will trace that packet and read the data because it is in the plain text format. But SSH does not do this. Okay, because SSH provides the security. So this is the one basic difference. Okay, SSH convert that plain text into the ciphertext. Now, how it will convert that plain text into the ciphertext? So for that, it uses the cryptography algorithm. So there are basically two types of the cryptographies. One is the symmetric and second one is the asymmetric. Symmetric means there will be the only one key, okay, in between the sender and receiver. So whatever sender is using the key to encrypt that message, that same key should be with the receiver. Means suppose I am using I have the laptop and I want to encrypt the message SKN SUE Pandharpur. So I will encrypt that message SKN SUE Pandharpur by using some symmetric algorithm. Okay, and that message I will transfer over the internet. And when it will be reached at the receiver side, so receiver should have the same algorithm, whatever I use over here, so that he can decrypt. So this is called as a symmetric. And asymmetric means what? There are two keys. One is the public key and second one is the private key. Okay, so public key is known to everyone and private key is known to that sender only and the receiver, that is client and server. So it uses its own private key and decrypt that message. So asymmetric key cryptography algorithm is more secure than the symmetric key. Okay, so as compared to the telnet, SSH is more secure. Clear. So now the second difference, as compared to the telnet, SSH does more functionality. Okay, we'll see later on what are that functions provided by the SSH. Then next difference, as we have seen, telnet uses the port number 23. Here SSH uses the port number 22. Okay, keep in mind, because it may be asked, question may be asked on this point in the university examination. Okay, in the MCQA. So it uses the 22. So once again I am here repeating some port number of concern protocol. FTP for data 20, FTP for control 21, then SSH 22, telnet 23, SMTP 25. Okay, these are the protocols which we have studied, and that concern port numbers. Okay, now the next point is telnet uses the TCP connection, right? Means whenever the telnet by using telnet we are transferring the data from client to server or from server to client. Okay, so at that time we require the connection establishment, so it uses the TCP. Same thing also here, SSH also uses the TCP connection. Okay, because the connection is established via the TCP protocol, means there is a guarantee that the data will be delivered to the receiver. Okay, so that's why both these protocols uses the TCP connections. Okay, so this is the basic thing about the SSH. Now we'll see introduction. Another popular remote login application program is a Secure Shell. SSH, Secure Shell is nothing but the SSH like Telnet. It uses TCP as the underlying transfer protocol, but SSH is more secure and provide more services than the Telnet. We'll see which are those services. So what we have to see in this topic, SSH version, it's have the two version, SSH 1 and 2. Then it's a different component, SSH have the different component. We'll see port forwarding. This is an important point, port forwarding, because in the previous year university examination they asked the question on this port forwarding in the MCQ or even though in theory. Okay, that is write a short note on port forwarding likewise. Then format of SSH packet. So first one is establishing the secure connection. Now how it establish the secure connection, we have seen in the introduction. The client initiate the connection by sending a request to the TCP port of the SSH server. So SSH should be configured on the both system, that is client and server. Server reveals its SSH protocol version to the client. So which protocol version it is uses. If the client and server decide their version are compatible, then connection proceed. It means establishment. SSH server send the following to the client: host key, the server key, a list of supported encryption, compression and authentication method. This is also important because here the message is transferred, but it is not in the form of plain text. It is in the form of ciphertext. So encryption, compression, authentication method, that should be known to the client as well as server. And a sequence of 8 random bytes. Client checks identity of a server by using the host key against known host database. Yes, that key will be provided. Client generate a session key and double encrypt it using the host key and server key. Client sends encrypted session key along with check bytes and acceptable algorithm. So whatever means, suppose it uses the RS algorithm to convert that plain text to the ciphertext. Okay, so it should be known to the user, that is client as well as server, that is sender and receiver. Then once the message is transferred, then there is a responsibility of the server to decrypt that message, and while decrypting that message, it uses the same method as like the client. So server then decrypt the encrypted session key it received. Server sends a confirmation encrypted with this session key. Client receives confirmation, confirm server authentication. Client authentication usually either by a password authentication or public key authentication. Authentication means what? Actually, it is used for the login purpose. Whether that author is authorized or not. That concerned person is not. A concerned person is or not. So to check it, it uses the authentication. Then server confirms client authorization. It generates a 256-bit random challenge, encrypt it with a client public key and send to a client. Client decrypt challenge generate a hash value with a session identifier and send to server. And server generate hash if both match session is authenticated. Okay, means even though while establishing the connection between the client and server, it checks the authentication. Okay, and authentication, how it will be checked? It will be checked by using the asymmetric key cryptography algorithm. Nowadays we are using the symmetric key cryptography algorithm, okay, which provides the more security. Why we are using asymmetric key cryptography algorithm? The reason is that here we are using the two different keys. Okay, so if we will transfer the plain text into ciphertext, then it's very difficult to hacker or the person which is in between the sender and receiver. Okay, man in middle, we can see that it's difficult to decrypt that key because see, there is a chances of hacking because client is at one location, server is at one location, and client doesn't know how many there are intermediate routers or how many there are intermediate users, because that packet will be transferred from client to the some intermediate node or router, then from that intermediate to the second intermediate, then third intermediate, and finally or ultimately it will reach to the destination. So meanwhile someone can capture that packet and he can do the changes, he can hack the data. So that's why such a cryptography algorithm is used. Now let's see the next point, that is components of SSH. So SSH uses the or we can say the having the following components at the transport layer: TCP, SSH transport layer, and the remaining are the SSH application authentication, it's then the connection establishment. So SSH provides the security at the transport layer, because even though we are using the TCP protocol, but TCP is not that much secure. So to provide security at the transport layer, okay, SSH protocol is used. So along with TCP, if we use the SSH, then it will be more secure. Okay, so that's why SSH is used at the transport layer, and at this same time at application layer also, because at the application layer the process takes place, that is authentication. So in the application layer protocol also, along with that protocol, it uses the SSH protocols. Then the next point is the port forwarding. SSH uses the port forwarding. Now even though as we have seen, the TCP uses the SSH because it gives the more security, SMTP also uses the SSH. So TCP and SMTP, both these protocols uses the SSH protocol to provide the or to give the more security to the message or the data. Okay, so while forwarding the message or the data, it uses the concept of tunneling. Tunneling means what? So first of all, the connection is established between the client and server, that is local site and remote site. Once the connection is established, once the there is a channel in between the client and the server, that is local site and the remote site. So once that connection is established, then the security will be provided to that channel or the connection. And how the security will be provided? Security will be provided by SSH. And once the security is provided, then and then only data will be transferred from local site to the remote site. So here it uses the concept of tunnel. Tunnel means we can say that the stream of data will be transferred through that channel one by one, and which is in the encrypted format. Okay, so which is shown in the figure. Telnet client, SSH client. Okay, then it will, the data will be, telnet clients means plain text. It will be converted into the ciphertext, and which will be done via the SSH client. And once it is done, then that message or data will be transferred through the tunnel. Tunnel means now this is the secure channel. We use the SSH. It will go to the SSH server, and then finally it will take received by the telnet server. So telnet protocol also uses the SSH to give the to provide the security, because telnet is also used for the remote login purpose. SSH is also used for the remote login purpose. Okay, so tunneling, keep this word in mind, because through this tunnel, tunnel is nothing but the data will be transferred in the form of streams, and which is a more secure. That channel is more secure. It's called the port forwarding. Now let's see the SSH packet format. As like the other protocols, SSH also have its own packet format. TCP have the packet, its own packet format. UDP have. Okay, and one thing I told you in the introduction, that SSH have more functionality, or it does the more functionality than the telnet. So which are those functions that we have to study in this SSH packet format? Okay, so here see the figure. There are different fields: length, padding, type, data, and CRC. So CRC is done by the SSH, okay, which is not done by the telnet. Okay, so this is one more functionality as compared to the telnet. Then padding is also done by the SSH, which is not done by the telnet. So this is also one more functionality. Okay, then data is the variable, type. All these are the extra functionality, more functionality than the telnet. So the first field is the length. Length, the size of this field is 4 byte, and it defines what it defines. Its types, data, and CRC. Okay, these things are defined in the length field. The next one is the padding. As we know that why the padding field is used. Okay, but here the role of the padding is a little bit different than the whatever we have learned in the padding, use of padding in the that is, we can say, the frame format of the IEEE 802.34556. Okay, here it is little bit different. Here why we are using the padding? Here padding is used to make the more secure, means attacker cannot easily decrypt that message. So that's why here padding field is used. Okay, it adds more bit to provide the security. Padding is nothing but the adding of extra bit. Okay, but here the purpose of the padding is it provides more security. These extra bits are added to provide the security, so that the attacker cannot easily decrypt that message. Okay, so that is the purpose of the padding, and the size is 1 to 8 byte variable. Then the type, the size of this field is 1 byte. So which type of SSH is used, whether the version is SSH1 or SSH2, so it is defined over here. The next one is the data. The size of this field is variable. Okay, it varies. And the last one is the CRC. The size of this field is 4 byte. and the purpose of this field is, that is the CRC is used to detect the error. Okay, so these are the meaning of each field. Okay, so this is all about the SSH protocol. Okay, and we can say that the here we have finished unit number 5. Okay, thank you.